Hello, good morning. It's Tracy Daviero here with you from Your VA Mentor. Happy Monday morning and welcome to our weekly live. This week, I hope you had a nice weekend. There you go. I hope Monday morning is starting off awesome for you. And yeah, this week I wanted to talk about something that comes up fairly often in my discussions with VAs and actually all small business owners is where do you seek business advice? And probably the more important question is whose business advice do you take, right? One of the things that I find really paralyzes VAs when, especially when you're starting out, but also if you're struggling, not particularly just if you are not started yet. There's usually a period of time where VAs are trying to figure everything out on their own and not quite sure of the decisions that they're making and that kind of thing. And so, there's a long period of time before you start your business usually. And then there's a long period of time after that where you're still not sure what you're doing or making, whether the decisions that you're making are all correct, maybe not really feeling very confident and that kind of thing. So, and then of course there's, once you are established, you have money coming in, you have clients, you're fairly happy, but you make some changes in your business that, there's a sort of another plateau there where you're still unsure as you start to grow. Maybe you want to change your rates. Maybe you want to start bringing in team members and start working with higher level clients, that kind of thing. So there's lots of different times in your business that you'll seek a fair amount of advice. And so I just wanted to sort of address that today. And so I've got 3 places where you would typically look for different kinds of advice, and I just want to give you my take on each of these things. So the first one is where pretty much all of us start, is doing research, doing things on your own, trying to find information, trying to find the answers, if you want to put it that way, on your own. I have a lip balm in my hand, and I'm going to put it down because I feel like I'm going to open it and apply it. And so it's just, I always have a pen in my hand too. It's just a chatty thing. But yeah, so you're looking for answers about whatever it is that you're looking to learn about or make decisions around, and you're doing it on your own. And so that's a really good thing to do, because as you get going as a business owner, you're going to have to rely on yourself and the things that the things that you feel comfortable with to make the decisions that you need to make in your business. And so it's not that, you shouldn't be going to other people, because I'll talk about who you go to in just a moment. But I think it's really important to develop that ability to, first of all, Google is your friend, right? Google is most definitely your friend. If you have a question about something, it's a really good idea to be able to find the answer yourself, or at least try to source the answer yourself. And so when you're coming to asking other people about what is the right thing to do, try to come up with, 1 or 2 options that you've discovered on your own, and then say, what do you think of this or this? Not just, what do you think of, or how should I do this? Anything in particular. Pardon me. I'm just going to grab some water here. So, and I think that that's really important. I learned something really cool out of, I'm going to reference Clockwork again. My gosh, how many times have I referenced this book? Maybe not in videos with you guys, but lots of times. This book is amazing, amazing. And I'm definitely working with it this year. And so one of the things that they talk about, the author, Mike Michalowicz, talks about in this book is about empowering your team. And so hang with me for a second, I'll get to the point. So empowering your team. And so one of the things that I learned how to do from reading this book is to take out the decision, allow my team members to make decisions. And so here's the thing about that. If I give somebody a task to do, and you can think about this in terms of you and your clients as well, okay? So if your client gives you a task to do, and then you ask a question about how to do something, and then they give you the information. They say, oh, go and do this here. Then you ask them another question. Well, what about this? I came upon this, I have another question. And they answer the question. If you're constantly going back and forth, and so for me, this is me and my team members, as I'm trying to, get them to get things done, just as you are between you and your clients. If there's a lot of you asking questions and the client answering, or in my case, the team member asking questions and me answering, What ends up happening is we forget to use this. Okay, so I get into the habit of providing way too much information. My team gets into the habit of always asking questions and getting complete clarity on everything without having to make any decisions themselves and not really taking responsibility for what they're doing. And so it's the same thing for you with your client work, but it's also the same thing for you and your business. When you're making all the decisions in your business, you need to make sure that you aren't constantly just putting questions out there, asking, getting the answers from other people. You need to be able to use your own brain. And so the theory behind the empowering the team, just like your clients should empower you, is to help you to actually use that critical thinking and use what you know, use what you are learning all the time through being in business and taking responsibility for what you're doing. And so you're doing the same thing when you are seeking business advice and managing that on your own. That's a really, really good skill to build. Okay, it's good to work with clients that way for sure, but it's really good to do for your own business. Even if you're not 100% sure of the decisions that you're making, then you can go to other people and you can talk about specifics. Then you can say, do you like this project management system better or this one? I've researched both of them. They both seem to, do what I need. Not go to, a group or a professional or whatever it is and say, I don't know which project management system to use. Can you tell me? So those are two completely different things. Do a little bit of research, make some decisions around what you need. And then what you do is when you go to other people, whether it's your colleagues or whether it's a coach or another professional or anything like that, you're going to ask specific questions. And so they say, well, actually, I'm using this one because this. And if it's VA colleagues you're talking to, they might give you some insight on what they like best about one of the ones that you've chosen. So it's really important to do when you're looking to do research on your own. Really get used to that Google, really get used to making those decisions and empower yourself to make some choices and make some decisions. So that's number one. Number two is your colleagues. And of course, I've talked about this a little bit already. You're going to seek business advice from your colleagues simply because there are a plethora of VA communities out there and groups out there. And that's what they're for, right? They're there for support and that kind of thing. And it's really great because there are people at all different levels, 100% all the time. And so it's important for you to be able to establish relationships in there and be able to go there to talk about what it is that either you're struggling with or your successes, right? Always never forget that number two. A lot of people only seek out VA support whenever they're struggling. And I think it's really important to get to that point where you're not just going there seeking advice all the time, but you're actually going there to cultivate some relationships and that kind of thing as well. So when you're seeking business advice from colleagues, you want to make sure that you're looking for people who have or have experienced some success in whatever it is that you're doing. It's a very supportive industry. It's extremely supportive. Everybody's always got each other's back. Everybody's always helping each other out all the time. But be very careful of accepting business advice or not accepting it, but implementing, I'd say, business advice from people who are in the same boat as you, are struggling at the same place as you, because they haven't gotten through what it is that you're getting through. And it's okay to ask which project management system you're using and, all of those kinds of things. But it is really important if you're looking to make decisions about your business that you're looking to sort of people who are farther ahead than you, so that you have that underneath your belt, and you're not seeking advice from somebody who still hasn't started their own business or still hasn't gotten their first client. Not to say that they can't offer you good advice, but in this situation when you're running a business, you do want to use tried and tested information and experience and advice, right? It is really important. And the thing is, the VAs that are in the groups are always working very hard to build their business and that type of thing. So when you get some advice that is, and it's free, right? It's generally, well, it's always free, as a matter of fact, whenever you join a group like that. And so that's what you want to do, is you want to really focus on the fact that, again, when you're coming to the groups with a question, make sure that it's really clear. Like I said before, do your research first. Don't just go and say, I want to work with real estate agents. What do I need to know? a very common question I see, and insert industry here, right? Do some research. Go and find some real estate VAs. Look at the things that are on their website. Go to the entrepreneur groups and, look for real estate people and what they're asking about. Do a little bit of preliminary research, and then come to your group of colleagues and, say, I've sort of learned a little bit about this. I saw this, whatever. And then you can ask an actually defined question. It's really, really important. And you'll get better advice that way too. And then, of course, the third place to seek advice is through professionals, whether that's a coach, whether that's, another professional VA, like I say, or whether that's professional people like your government website or your bookkeeper or accountant, right? So what I advise people all the time, particularly with legal stuff, with, government stuff, is go to your business, go to your government small business website. Everybody has one. I have yet to look with somebody and not find something. So I can't tell you specifically which one is yours for your province or state or country or whatever it is. But every time I've gone to look and help another VA, I've found something, a resource online that they can use. And so that's going to give you the best advice for where you live. And that's really important because you can go in and you can ask, other VAs, or you can ask a coach like me. If you live in New Mexico, in the States, or if you live in Germany, I have really no idea what the information is there that you need. I can't give you the best, I can't give you the right answer, certainly not off the top of my head. But every single time I can go and I can look at the government website that's there, and there's the small business section, and that is where the information that you need is. Same thing with legal stuff, same thing with accounting. All the professionals are really, really important. Government, legal, and accounting. Very important to seek the advice there in the places where it's supposed to be, okay? So when I say a coach can give you information and that kind of thing, I think that's very important too, because I've got a lot of experience under my belt, and I can advise you in ways that other people who haven't done all the things that I've done over the last 22 years can advise you. But I don't know everything. I don't presume to know everything, but I do usually, I can usually help you find the place where you can get the information. So whether that's on a government website, whether that's another professional, or whether that's, one of my colleagues who teaches something that I don't teach, that's what I'll always do with you. So it's really important to understand that anybody you're going to for advice, not me, anybody else, you don't have to ask me. And, like I say, I like to be sort of that portal or that hub that if you have a question about something, you can ask me, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the best one to help you. So, and that is the same with absolutely everybody. But those three things, you want to be able to ask government, legal, and accounting information from the professionals. That's really important. Try not to ask other VAs those questions unless you're asking, like you say, I live in Alabama, what's the small business website? I can't find it. Or, do you have an accountant in Lethbridge, Alberta? Did I get that right? Geez, I shouldn't have even guessed that. I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I need an accountant. Can you recommend somebody? Those are very specific questions, and that's really important. But other than that, seek out the professionals. Learn what it is that you don't know, whatever it is that you don't know. Like I teach business and marketing. If you don't know how to set up your business foundations, or if you're struggling with marketing and networking and finding clients, then talk to me about that. If I can't help you, I know lots of other people who can help you as well. So seeking business advice is really important. Try not to go it all alone all the time. Try not to be doing it all by yourself. It's really a grind. It's really a struggle. So do that research on your own. Make sure that you're doing what it is that you need to do. Get comfortable making decisions. Empower yourself, like I say in the Clockwork book, empower yourself to make decisions, and try to ask really thoughtful questions to people. If you're looking for information about something, do a little bit of research on your own and come and ask a really solid question. Colleagues is the second place. Make sure that you're looking for the best advice from people who are already past where you are. Support is wonderful, but business advice is very, very different from support. So you want to make sure that you're not just getting information, you're not just getting the most popular answer, and you're not just making yourself feel better by asking a question. You're actually getting the correct advice from your colleagues. And then obviously the paid options are the coaches and professionals, and you know what to do there, right? Make sure that you are seeking out the proper kind of coach, who teaches what it is or who works with what it is that you need to learn or that you need advice around. And the professionals, stick to the big three: government, legal, and accounting. Seek out the professionals and make sure that you're doing things right. All you have to do is get the advice, and then that decision is made and you can put it off and then you can move on to something else. It's really, really important. So seeking business advice, I would love to hear where you are getting yours and your questions or comments on this video. So take care and we'll see you next week.